Welcome to yet another episode of the Beard Al Podcast, the podcast about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al. And I'm Lauren. I am always here. And Russ has deigned to roll his chair in from the other room. Hello.
Hello, hello.
And we also have friend of the show who's been here and has manifested things into the universe with me, and is you've been here before. I've been on your shows before, and you are also part of the Odd Pods Media Network along with us. Robert Yaniz Jr., you have so many shows and you do so many things, and I'm not gonna do anything justice to you. So first of all, hello.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, Russ. How you guys doing?
Good. How
Doing
are
well.
you?
So I have Crooked Table Productions, and we do two shows, Close Watch, where we get to know our guests through the movies they love. Recently, I did a run of movie musicals. Russ came on to talk about Moonwalker. That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, sure was.
And then the other show is Franchise Detours, where we believe no movie series travels in a straight line. And we actually recently, speaking of Zaz, which we'll get into, the Zuckers and Abrams team, Lauren helped me kick off the Naked Gun franchise coverage mega series that we did earlier this year. So we keep finding these bits of overlap between movies and Al, and more recently like the Zuckers and Al. And so when you said this was available, I was like, oh, absolutely. Like this was a blind spot for me, which we'll get into and stuff with the film. But I also host with my co-host Darren Lundberg a show called Back to Bluey, where we discuss the animated Australian series Bluey, one episode of a time. And we kind of look at it from a parenting perspective and all of that. So that's, you can find those wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm on social media at Cricket Table.
Fantastic. Yeah. So the Bluey thing, right? I just have to share this little anecdote with you that I'm sure you've heard, but it's like, I saw something online not even too long ago of like an American woman who asked her toddler what kind of dog Bluey is. And this American child answered Gila because of the accent. They didn't realize it's healer in America.
Right.
So it's just the funny little thing.
Funny.
Gila?
That's funny.
Yeah. So, the toothless, ruthless people of it all. So I'm going to set the stage for everybody listening here. Since Rob is like the movie guy, and we have had so many of these cool overlaps of, movies and Weird Al and all this, that, and the other, I was like, yeah, exactly. You jumped on this and I was like, yeah, this is perfect. So we all put ourselves through the paces of watching the 1986 American black comedy film Ruthless People. We listened to the Mick Jagger song Ruthless People, and we listened to the Weird Al Yankovic parody Toothless People, and now we are going to have a conversation about all of the above. So first and foremost, Toothless People. I like to start these episodes with a little bit of trivia about the song itself, but there's not much to this, right? The only thing really floating around out there in the Weird Al lore, I suppose you could say, is that Ruthless People was supposed to be a much bigger hit than it actually was. So Weird Al was kind of hedging his bets against this song and the soundtrack and the movie and things like doing well. And then it wasn't. And he was like, oh no. But he got permission from, Mick Jagger et al. To do the song. So he thought he would be rude if he didn't do it. So he did it, and he put it on the Polka Party album. And now we have Toothless People.
I mean, that's just another example of Al being Al, in my opinion, in the best way. Like who else on earth would be like, it would be rude if I didn't do that. Anyone else on earth would be like, well, that's a terrible marketing decision or what, you know what I mean? Like, and he's just like, right. Oh, I don't want to be rude. I
don't want to let down Mick Jagger of all people.
I know. And this is, in all fairness, there has been kind of a Mick Jagger, Rolling Stones thread throughout like Al's career in the 80s. So this kind of made sure it stayed that way. Like Mick Jagger, I think, or the Rolling Stones appeared on like every single polka in Weird Al's career up until the Hot Rocks polka.
Right.
And
which there is famously no Rolling Stones in that polka.
None at all. Yeah. So this just sort of had to happen. And, I had heard maybe once or twice the song Ruthless People before. Rob, had you heard this Ruthless People before?
I hadn't heard the song. I wasn't even aware that there was a title track to this movie. And I was aware of the film, but and this is what kind of, like you said, what kind of undid Al's plan with Toothless People to an extent, is that the film did well. The song just didn't catch on for whatever reason. I'm curious, what do you both think of the original song before we talk about Toothless People? Because if Al is sort of working from that as a template, there's only so far he can take it beyond where that song is.
Well, first I'd have to say I'm not overly familiar with the original, seeing as we watched the movie and I only got to hear it, I think 7,000 times in the movie. So,
They do cut to it a lot. Yeah.
Holy cow. I think the only movie I've ever heard the theme song be in more than that is the original Beverly Hills Cop, where they drop Axel F 300 times in one movie.
Yeah.
And I'd have to even add it up. It might be neck and neck.
It's close
with these two. Yeah. But okay, so when I was a kid, if Casey Kasem didn't play it, then it didn't exist in my world. So This song did not make the top 40. So it didn't exist in my world because Casey wasn't going to play it. So when it came out, being me, I would always read the liner notes and stuff when Polka Party came out. So I was like, well, now what Mick Jagger song? When I was looking at the liner notes on Polka Party, right? So I went through, I had a aunt who bought everything. She had every 45 that came out, no matter what, she just had this massive 40. So I went to her house and found the 45 for Ruthless People. And I put it on. And the only thing about it that I was just yeah, this is not any better than Weird Al's song. You know what I mean? Nothing about it made me be oh, I want to hear this more than Weird Al's song.
Right.
And then let me put it this way. I think the next time I heard it was when we watched the movie last night. I don't think I ever heard it ever again. There's terrible Rolling Stones songs from I don't know, 75 through at least 92.
Sure.
That I've heard again for one reason or another, and I truly don't think I've ever heard Ruthless People since the day I played that 45 until last night.
That's fair.
And it's such a bummer. I was telling Lauren, I looked it up before. I was like, who wrote this? Should have been a great song. And I'm so disappointed to learn that Daryl Hall and Dave Stewart wrote that. That song should be so much better than it is.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, not great. Not great. I hadn't heard it ever. I really, because why?
Well, I mean, you have though.
Yeah, I have.
Because Toothless People, it's the same thing. It really is. The parody is not even remotely far off in production and everything.
Yeah.
The only other thing I want to mention, and this is just something that I read at some point today because I was looking into this to see why the song failed. The Stones, and this is also a terrible album, but the Stones also had an album out that year called Dirty Work. And so that's another thing where people could have been not knowing if this was a Rolling Stone song or a Mick Jagger song or what. So that was another thing that was brought up of people, if consumers would be I'm not putting too much work into this.
Yep.
So.
So that's the song. I mean, that's also why we have the movie to talk about as well, because there's really not much to. Yeah, my God, no pun intended. There's not much to sink your teeth into here.
Yeah. Well, you're like, all right, next week on the show, we're gonna.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Before we get into the movie itself, too, I feel like Toothless People is one of those Weird Al songs that Weird Al fans even go, I don't like that song. Mm. And I used to be one of those people. I'm not one of those people anymore because there's a quiet brilliance to what Al has done here. insofar as I absolutely love the way he leans into the Mick Jagger isms vocally.
Yeah, there's that.
Like, do you ever catch yourself? I caught myself like so many times going, hey, like that's just like, that's great. That's great. It's great. But yeah, this, as far as the whole intersection of things right here, the song Toothless People and the song Ruthless People are kind of the low points of where we are here. So I feel like let's lean into Rob's sweet spot and start talking about the movie.
I will say before we do that, I do wanted to mention, like, I wonder if had this song, like if the initial plan was maybe, okay, there's this big Mick Jagger song coming out, attached to this big movie with all Danny DeVito and Bette Midler and all these stars. Like, I wonder if the initial plan was for that to be perhaps a lead single on Polka Party, because it was, according to my very cursory internet research, it was recorded like in the last session. So I almost wonder if they're like, oh, we need a big hit to kind of kick off the album. Obviously most of Al's discography is led by like a big hooky parody, whether it's Fat or Amish Paradise or what have you. And so I wonder if he was sort of maybe counting on that. And then since it didn't happen, it was downplayed. And if this is, I'm not saying this, I'm not making the declaration. I'm raising the question whether the failure of Ruthless People and by extension Toothless People is kind of the hinge on Polka Party's reception to a degree.
That's absolutely part of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Like, because looking at it, you're absolutely right. The final parody recorded for Polka Party was Toothless People. So, I mean, they may have said, because like you look at the parodies that exist on it as it is, right? Living with a Hernia was from, Rocky,
4.
Right.
4.
We need to be clear, it wasn't from the first one.
I know, I'm sorry. Rocky 4. Addicted to Spuds, Here's Johnny is a parody of a song from Short Circuit. And then there's a lot of movie, soundtrack song parodies happening here. And like we have said before on this show, and we'll say again as many times as anyone will listen, like Living with a Hernia should have been the lead single for this. It's a much better song. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that also, it was, but it just didn't it didn't do anything for him either, I mean, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, who the heck knows. But anyway.
We got Christmas at Ground Zero.
We did. We got that out of it.
That's the one that I feel like has endured the most by a significant stretch.
Yo, that and Doggy Dog, I think, among like,
that's true.
For sure. Yeah, those two are like classics in their own beautiful, beautiful way. So yeah, I had never seen the movie Ruthless People until the other day when we watched it in preparation for this. Rob, had you seen it before?
I haven't, and like I said, I did the Naked Gun films recently on my podcast. I did Airplane on my other podcast years ago. This is the only I actually caught up finally with Top Secret like last year for the first time.
Oh, what a fantastic film!
I don't know how that escaped me.
I don't know. How did you not go skeet surfing as a kid? Everyone went skeet surfing.
So this was like my last big like Zaz. And to be clear, that's Jim Zucker, David Zucker, and Jim Abrahams. This was like my last big Zaz blind spot. And I was aware of the movie, but I think in my head, as a small child in the mid 80s, it got kind of thrown together with like Big Business and Outrageous Fortune and like all these other like dark comedies that Bette Midler and Danny DeVito were sort of doing around the same time. So this was a great excuse to go back and finally kind of clear that off.
Yeah, for sure, it was a blind spot for all of us here. We had never ever seen it before. And for those of you listening to this who may not know, right? Ruthless People, like you said, it's got Danny DeVito, Bette Midler, the Honorable Judge Reinhold, Anita Morris, Alan Slater, and it was Bill Pullman's film debut.
It was the year before Spaceballs.
Excuse me, President Whitmore.
Sorry, President Whitmore's film debut.
Okay, well, he didn't serve and get elected for you to just refer to him as Bill Pullman.
Apologies.
Okay.
I mean, I, for one, this is why I made sure to say it.
Have you not seen the documentary?
I've seen the documentary.
Okay.
I, for one, get upset when people don't give the Honorable Judge Reinhold his due respect.
Proper title, yeah.
He was in a documentary about high school called Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes,
he was going to kick 100% of your ass.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got a lot of good people.
I can't see him without saying that line in my mind every time he's on screen.
I believe that.
Sir, if you don't shut up, I'm going to kick 100% of your ass.
Fantastic. So, Rob, having not seen this before, what, especially as the movie guy where you know this was a blind spot for yourself, what are your initial thoughts about this?
You can tell right off the bat that it wasn't written by them because it's one of the only non-parody things that they've done. I mean, like I said, Aeroplane, Naked Gun, and all that. So my expectations were kind of blank, I think, to coming into it. Like, okay, I knew all these actors. Obviously, we're doing the Superman films on my podcast now, so I just watched Supergirl with Helen Slater. So I was like, oh, Helen Slater re-enters my world right a week or two after I recorded the Supergirl episode. That's random. Helen Slater's in the air, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, there we go.
So, I'm not a huge dark comedy person a lot of the time. It's just not my particular style of humor. And, I watched this with my wife, and we were both sort of like, well, who are we rooting for here? Like, it's kind of that, it kind of had a similar vibe, the first half at least, to like some of the Coen brothers comedies where you're like, okay, so it's a bunch of idiots doing stupid things. And the turn that it takes, like a part of the way through, where it starts out with Danny DeVito. I don't know how much we want to get into the plot, but it starts out with,
we can spoil it for people. It's
I feel like we should stop off to let people know that every time we use the word plot, that you should, if you're in the audience listening, you should put the Dr. Evil quotes up when you hear the word plot, though. Like, I feel like strongly that people should have to use air quotes every time they hear the word plot.
So, because the entire time we were watching it, Russ is sitting here, you're literally sitting there going, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand this.
Well, I made two observations about 20 minutes in, about 15 minutes in, and then I paused it again about 20 minutes in. And the first one, 15 minutes in, was exactly what Robert just touched on, because I have such a massive respect for Zaz that I said they do one thing very well, and this isn't it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 minutes later, I paused it and said, this plot was brought to you by cocaine. And also, when you said, Robert, a moment ago, at one point, the film kind of changes. Can we agree that the moment the film changes is when Bette Midler just starts working out a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally the movie's just Absolutely. Like, and now this. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? Oh, I you all know, like y'all know how I do my life. I don't like sitting around being like, this is just terrible. But I truly, the whole time I kept being like, any minute now, something's going to happen. And I'm going to be like, phew, boy, I'm glad that happened, because from there out, it was awesome. And it did not happen. There was not, there was like, at least I can't even remember now. There was one line that I laughed at and I was like, that was the funniest line in the whole movie. But other than that, there was nothing even that I really laughed at. Like you said, I remember laboring the point that he was talking about. I kept going, what? I don't know who I'm supposed to like.
Yeah.
I can't tell if I'm supposed to like Judge Reinhold and I don't know. I think I'm supposed to like them. I guess maybe I'm supposed to be sympathetic for Bette Midler, but maybe not. I know I'm supposed to not like Danny DeVito. Maybe I'm supposed to, I don't know. I don't know who I was supposed to. And then suddenly, at least within the last 10 minutes of the movie, I was definitely supposed to have been sympathetic toward Judge Reinhold the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't know if that's the whole time. I think I feel like when it starts, everyone is sort of the title character. Everyone is ruthless people.
Yeah.
And then as it shakes out, you're like, oh, okay. Some of them are misguided. Some of them are just really dumb. And some of them are misunderstood. And then like the one who stands as truly ruthless is the Danny DeVito character. So I like that turn that it takes, that you see that there's a little more to some of these characters, for good or for ill. And I think there's kind of an even measure of both, so that by the end it's Danny DeVito is like the most despicable one.
Well,
So by the end it becomes a ruthless person.
Yeah, pretty much.
And if we go by height, it's a ruthless half person.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just like, I kept being like, exactly what you said just at the beginning. It's like, you don't know what anyone's up to. You don't know why anyone's doing anything. Like I am by no means any sort of film expert. I don't claim to be. I am the person who thinks all comedy should be 89 minutes at the most. So I am not asking for 10, 15, 20 minutes more of this movie, but I could have used like at least some exposition to explain something early on of like who we should be caring about and why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Well, if you take into consideration that the screenwriter Dale Launer, right? He also wrote My Cousin Vinny, and to be fair,
sorry, that's Leonard Kenny.
I know
it's never not going to happen. Go on.
In all fairness,
that's like the Big Lots version of Leonard Kenny.
Yeah. In all fairness, like there's nobody to like in My Cousin Vinny either.
Yeah.
So maybe that's this guy's thing.
I've only seen that once ever.
Is writing movies, because he also wrote Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yeah,
so,
I was looking.
So it's like maybe
I've only seen Blind Date once. I bet you would like that. That's Bruce Willis, isn't it?
I like Bruce Willis.
You do like Bruce Willis.
I do love Bruce Willis. Oh, I like King Basinger too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was in the height of if you guys don't pay me more, I'll walk away from Moonlighting. And then the movie didn't do so well, and he was like, "Never mind, I'm back." But it's supposed to be good.
But I digest. So maybe this guy just doesn't like people.
He just doesn't like people, so he's like, you know what?
Everybody sucks.
I literally have in my notes, as the title implies, everyone in this movie sucks.
Well, when you think about it, like there are so many. This is like a mild tangent, but then you think about, what kind of happened with a lot of TV. Not 5 years after this, we're like, there's nobody to like on Seinfeld. There's virtually nobody to like on Friends. Like they all kind of suck.
You're suggesting that the mopey paleontologist who won't stand up for himself or be in any way tolerable is not a person to like? That's crazy.
I'm the holiday armadillo. Yeah. So who knows? I'm just saying. Yeah. And so the point I guess we're all trying to make here is that this is a difficult movie to, again, no pun intended, sink your teeth into, because there's not really a clear protagonist that makes you say, I care about this for this reason, right? You spend a good portion of this movie kind of grappling with who am I supposed to care about and why? The scene where early on in the movie where Bette Midler is, overweight and miserable and laying in the bed and like watching the exercise videos, and she's just getting upset about it. Russ, I remember you going, what is happening? Mm-hmm. Why should I care about this? Mm-hmm. And I still don't know.
Well, don't worry. They told us like 60 minutes later,
I guess.
So it was just real quick.
She just needed to lose 20 pounds and get some compliments and
in what, a day,
because her husband's
by the way,
basically. Literally.
The timeline just doesn't make sense to me.
And then in the middle of all of this, by the way, does anybody else find it ironic that here's this movie about these awful people? It's called Ruthless People, and it's all these terrible people, whatever else. And in the middle of all of it is the only person that's caught in this whole deal that gets a raw deal is the nicest person on the planet, Weird Al. who's the only person who gets screwed over in this whole deal because he's like just still went through with a nice thing that he didn't have to do.
Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, that is something. You know what? On that kind of womp of a note, I'm gonna take a little break for ads here while we think about what we've done. And
I was thinking of it as a good thing. It's why I love Weird Al.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing. We need everybody else to think about what they've done. So meanwhile, think about what you've Googled, because that's what these ads are going to be about, and we'll see you on the other side.
Each of us identify with one of the Golden Girls. I'm Sophia, Aaron is Dorothy, Kristen is Sweet Rose, and each week we'll have a guest sit in the Blanche spot, the naughty seat. Come join us on the lanai for some cheesecake.
Part of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff?
Remember yesterday I was telling you how I wished I could have seen one of Billy Joel's sold-out shows at Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, I said you should go see Taylor Swift instead. She's the modern-day Billy Joel.
Well, today my phone said I should read an interview with Billy Joel where he talks about both retirement and Taylor Swift.
Oh, man. It's always so creepy when that happens.
We should do a podcast about how our devices are always listening to us.
We already do. It's called Suggested Articles.
A podcast?
We talk about how technology is always spying on us and how those tech corporations are such big buttholes.
Dude, you can't say buttholes on a podcast promo.
Dude, we already did. Twice.
Join us every other Monday on Suggested Articles,
the podcast,
on your favorite podcast app.
Part of the Odd Pods Media Network.
If you're into comedy, game shows, and improv, you should come check out BFYTW. We are an adult British-inspired comedy panel show. New episodes release every Thursday through your favorite podcast player or bfytwpod.com. We're also a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network and would love for you to join us for some laughs.
And we're back.
Man, they can't get back in that gap.
Wow, what an ad break.
Yeah, I laughed. I cried.
I laughed. I cried.
I pooed a little.
You pooed a little?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, it depends on what you Googled, I guess.
Well, I Googled depends.
Well done, sir. That's why I married you. So yeah, I don't know. I also find this movie very, very confusing.
And I just want to dial back 1 second and say that I have such a respect for the directors that I was really, really, really excited and then really, really, really not. Like because I didn't know at all that they were involved in when the credits rolled at the beginning. I was like, yes. And I should also say, by the way, as the guy who never wants my artist to make the same album over and over, like I'm not the guy who, when Wish You Were Here came out, I wasn't like, I wish this was Dark Side of the Moon again. Like, I don't want them to continue to make the same thing over and over. I wasn't like, oh man, I wanted this to be Airplane. But I wanted it to be very funny. And so I was disappointed that it was let me say this. Humor is subjective. I'm saying I was disappointed that I didn't find it funny.
Did you?
I mean, did I?
Yes.
Some of it, like the misunderstandings, the comedy of misunderstandings, obviously, which is basically this movie's
that's all
kind
of
the card they play over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing with the sex tape and the way that plays out with the chief of police, and I was like, I know that person's gonna be somebody, and how that plays out, and they're describing it thinking she's gonna get killed, and really it's a sex tape that all of that stuff I thought was. But again, to your point, so convoluted that I'm like, I don't remember what was funny. I just remember they were misunderstanding each other, and that's always amusing. And that's the kind of thing they would almost have in some of their parody stuff. But to your point, Russ, I think this was them trying new ground, and I think as a result, this was also the last movie that they directed the three of them together, because it was written by none of them, and so it was. I think they found it challenging to direct something that wasn't the material that they had developed themselves, and so right after this is when they start splitting off into this one directs, this one writes, and then we kind of get the greater Zaz universe with not only the Naked Gun films but like the Hot Shots films and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Huh. That's interesting.
So the beginning of the end of their partnership kind of was this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels like it. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Huh. Why do you I don't know why. Why did they do something that somebody else wrote? Like, I know you said it was them like trying to break new ground, and there was like, oh no, it didn't work. You know, like, I guess my question is, why not trust the process that had been working?
Yeah.
You know,
I would assume maybe they just didn't want to be pigeonholed in like the parody genre that after Airplane and after Top Secret.
Oh, I don't
But
know
then
anything
after
about
this-
anybody being pigeonholed into the parody genre. Do you know anything about that?
No, I have no
No.
idea. Well, one thing
But I guess
Go
they
ahead.
didn't want to like stay in that lane, I
Yeah.
suppose. But then they would right back to it anyway. So it's
Well,
ironic.
I mean, and I know nothing about this. I'm taking a guess. So, Airplane and obviously the sequel to that were direct parodies of the entire decade of 70s was all disaster flicks like that.
Yep.
Like the literally Airport and all the Towering Inferno and all that stuff. And then to a certain extent, Top Secret was even a parody of before that, like a lot of the war films and whatnot. So I would argue that at the time that they did Ruthless People, there wasn't one dominant genre that they could have parodied. Parodied.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, there was so much in pop culture at that time that there wasn't like one dominant thing. The most that they could have done was pioneered what would have become what would go on to become the Scary Movie formula, where they parody like everything in pop culture at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know how those do that, like the Scary Movie, where they like parody every movie that's out right then. But because I unless I'm wrong, I don't think there was like one dominant genre of movie in like 85, 86 that they could have done that everyone would go, oh yeah, you're doing that thing that's really popular right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I mean, it was like Footloose and Dirty Dancing were around then. Maybe I think maybe Dirty Dancing might have even been 87. It might have been after this, but
Yeah, I believe so.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, and again, this is not even remotely based in fact. It's just a guess of mine that like there wasn't a like clear genre that they could have done.
Well, I mean, the very next year, Spaceballs comes out, so I mean that's a route they could have gone. I don't know how far Mel Brooks was in developing that at that point, and they didn't want to step on,
Oh, that's
toes
fair.
or
Yeah,
whatever, but
that's very possible.
That's it. Yeah.
but
that's a good
again,
point.
Bill Pullman went on to do that soon after this. So
Yeah.
And I mean, they were probably already well into combing the desert at
I would
that
think
point.
so.
So
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
which I don't know if you know what they found out there, but it wasn't much.
Yeah. But I mean, this is all very good points, because like we had this discussion when we talked about Spy Hard on this very show was like, what the parody movie kind of was, I guess, devolving into by the time we got into the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not anywhere near as nuanced as like what was happening before. And maybe, maybe Zaz kind of splitting up kind of made that turn, start to happen. According to the Wikipedia page, they split up for both fiscal and creative reasons, stating that there were, quote, too many guys sitting in the same chair. And they also said that they had been treated unfairly by the studios that produced their films, claiming that they failed to see any profits from Ruthless People. Sounds like Ruthless People.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, it sounds like they broke up for all the same reasons everyone who ever has made art as a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like because you all start hating each other eventually, and you all start thinking each one of you is the genius, and then on top of that, you're all getting screwed over by everyone who's supposed to be paying you.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but that's what happens.
That is how it goes.
Yeah.
That do be how it goes sometimes.
Should talk to some folks who used to sing and dance for Motown. They have stories to share.
I'm sure they do. I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this little tidbit that I dug up because I do get me a kick out of Judge Reinhold. I always thought that was actually his name.
Mm-mm.
His name is Edward, but he was nicknamed Judge because when he was a baby, he looked stern and judge-like. Could you imagine being nicknamed something like that as a baby because of your face?
Right.
He had resting judge face.
He did have resting judge face.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's marvelous. That's wonderful. I'm gonna switch gears here a little bit, just to kind of like sandwich the conversation in the Weird Al of it all. I want to kind of hit on Toothless People just a little bit because I feel like we have to dig into the lyrical content just a bit to make sure we give it its
sure,
give it its due, but then also touch on the new Naked Gun before we all go and give the song a rating on a scale of 1 to 27, which is becoming increasingly more meaningless as these weeks and weeks go by. But it's still a fun thing to do at the end of an episode. So Toothless People. At this point, right, Weird Al is on his 4th album, and he's a very smart guy. This feels lyrically very low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably part of why this doesn't stand out in a Weird Al, lore, or, it's nobody's. I would be hard pressed to find somebody who would say that Toothless People is their favorite Weird Al song.
Oh.
But there are things to appreciate about it anyway, So yeah, is there any line in this song that makes you actually laugh, or do you all go, yep, this is just puns about not having teeth?
I mean, I to your point about the song's reputation, I think it's, you discover there's a song coming out called Ruthless People. You're like, Toothless. Oh, done. And then when you play the track, it is what it sounds like. There's no surprises. There's no it's very, like you said, low hanging fruit. Getting all the humor is on the surface there. That being said, I did like the at the end of one of the verses when he says, "At least they don't have to worry about cavities." That was pretty funny. The way he rhymes it in with gum disease.
That is funny. Yeah, he does do a good job with that. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that my mother's father, my grandfather, who passed away in 1998, so he was around when I was a kid, but the entire time I knew him, no teeth, toothless person, okay? He would eat anything, like corn on the cob.
Oh, wow.
With no teeth. And I just felt like I needed to shout that out into the universe on an episode about a song called Toothless People, talking about how they only eat soft things. And I was like, oh, no. I've seen it.
Don't perpetuate stereotypes.
Don't do it.
Song.
I saw him eat corn on the cob. He wasn't letting anything stop him.
Right. Solid.
So we've got that. We've got that going for us. All right. Completely switching gears now. We've got the new Naked Gun movie that came out. And, Rob, I know you and I talked about the obviously the original Naked Gun. We have talked about Weird Al's cameos in the Naked Gun films on this very podcast as well. And when we were, I believe it's when you and I were talking about Spy Hard, there was something in the water about the new Naked Gun thing coming out. So we kind of, we talked about it a little bit, like before we knew anything really.
Right.
So now we know things and we've seen it. And I'm not spoiling exactly what it is, but those of you who may not have seen it, you can rest easy because your boy is in it, as he should be. Because I, for one, would not consider it a true Naked Gun film if Weird Al did not have a cameo appearance.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Not only that, I love that in the universe of the Naked Gun franchise, and I'm going to at some point in the near future record an episode for Franchise Detours on the new film. It's kind of an extension of that. I have a guest lined up and everything for
Fantastic.
that. And I'll mention that there as well. But within the universe of the Naked Gun films, Weird Al is as acclaimed a musical genius as he is to us, as he should be.
Yes.
Because that's the cameo in the first film, the cameo at the third film. He's like presenting at the Oscars. And then in this new one, it sort of keeps that reputation, in-universe reputation of Al alive.
Yeah.
So what the other thing that's cool too is that obviously, as we've been talking, the Zaz of it all is just a running line throughout the parody genre from, Airplane going forward. We mentioned Scary Movies, and David Zucker directed 2 of those. So there's a lot of cross section there. So having Al in there, and then the new Naked Gun directed by one of the members of the Lonely Island. It's like all of these people kind of swim in the same waters. So I love seeing that sort of cross-pollination between their fan bases.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, this was such a fun theatrical experience for us.
Yes.
Because we have taken to, like, we tend not to go to see too many new things in the theater unless we're like really, really drawn to it. What we tend to go see at the movies are anniversary screenings of, older movies that we love that we may not have seen on a big screen. So we went to see Monty Python and the Holy Grail. We just saw This Is Spinal Tap, the 41st anniversary, and we're going to see the new This Is Spinal Tap when that comes out too. But this was the first like new comedy that I think, Russ, this might be the first like new comedy that you and I had gone to see in the theater.
I think so.
Like together, because we usually like go see concert films or, like I said, like stuff that we already know.
Right.
This was so much fun because everybody in the theater was just laughing the whole way through, and so I would say like this is a really fun movie to go see if you just want to laugh. I feel like it's, like you said, it honors where it came from in such a great way, but it feels fresh at the same time, and I love that about it.
And that's such a hard needle to thread between hitting what you want as a longtime fan of the franchise, but also not having it feel like a retread.
Yeah.
And I'm crossing my fingers that this is the continuation of an upswing with the genre. Obviously you and I manifested Weird, the Al Yankovic story into the world. The same director of the new Naked Gun Akiva Schaffer also did Pop Star with Andy Samberg and the Lonely Island. And then now, for better or worse, the Wayans are in control of the Scary Movie franchise again, and that's coming to theaters next year. Scary Movie, we do math, 6.
27? Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'm optimistic that the comedies are going to start kind of rearing their head in theaters a little bit more going forward, because horror has had a great year. Original horror has had a great year. And so I'm hoping that sort of flips over to the other side, because, obviously comedy and horror are the two extremes of emotions of theatrical responses. So I like to see the new Naked Gun be the continuation of a trend.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I think it's great. We need it.
Yep. I'm all for it.
Like,
absolutely.
Again, it's a continuation of, an old franchise, the Naked Gun is, but also like I said, we're super excited for, This Is Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. Because did you see the trailer for that?
I haven't. No, well, no, I think I did. I think I did see the trailer for that. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm very excited about it. I'm real stoked. We are one little quick anecdote, because I just think this is a beautiful moment, and then we'll rate the song on Toothless People on a scale of 1 to 27, and then we'll give everybody the rest of their day back, folks, because I know you're listening to this, and you're like, oh gosh, I can't wait for the Beard Owl podcast to be over so that I can, go mow the lawn or whatever it is that you do after you listen to this show. But the 41st anniversary theatrical release of This Is Spinal Tap, we had already made plans with another couple for that evening, and then they announced that was going to be like the only night that like we could maybe theoretically possibly go to see it here. So I reached out to the woman in this couple, and I was like, hey, so I don't want to cancel our plans, but like we really need to go see this movie. And she was like, okay, yeah, we're all for it. So I got us 4 tickets. They are like, full grown adult people. Neither one of them had ever seen This Is Spinal Tap.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you what, it was really cool to have Russ to the right of me, who has seen Spinal Tap,
hundreds of
times. And then 2 people who had never seen it before at all. And they were just laughing and loving it. And like, it was so wonderful that, then they showed after that screening, they showed a short little teaser trailer for the new one. And as we're walking out of the theater, my friend, she says to me, so we're going to go see the new one together, right? And I'm like, yes. So we've got tickets together, like 9 p.m. on the Wednesday of that week to go see the freaking new Spinal Tap movie because they loved it. And I was like, oh my gosh, we just opened a window to a beautiful world for these people. And it's just makes me so happy as a human.
Absolutely.
So
cool.
Toothless People, my rating on a scale of 1 to 27. Just so nobody feels bad about it. I like the song. I think it's fun. I'm going to give it a 15.
I was thinking right around the mid range. So like I'll go 13.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, this is far and away the lowest score I'm going to give anything Weird Al's ever done. This is a 5.
Okay.
Like I haven't listened to this in, I don't know, 20 years. And it'll probably be another 20 before I listen to it again. Like I don't hate it at all, but like there's absolutely no reason why I will put this on.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Unless we're listening to Polka Party.
Unless we're like listening to the whole album all the way through.
Yeah.
And then like, here's the thing though, with most Weird Al albums, because we own like Squeezebox, so we would be able to have all of them to listen to on vinyl, right? There's like most Weird Al albums, there would be a reason why I would be like, oh, I can't leave the room yet because I know like this next song's coming. This is in a very, very, very small number of Weird Al songs where I would be like, I don't care.
Okay.
So
I hear that.
Yeah.
I understand.
5 is generous for me.
Okay. So that's where we're at with it. Yeah, this has been a wonderful discussion, gentlemen. Thank you. I'm glad we watched the movie. Now that's a thing that we can all check off our lists and go on with our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Sure.
So that was our discussion. Just for the folks listening, next time on the Beard Owl podcast, we're going to be hitting the next track on Polka Party, which is Good Enough for Now, which is a lovely little country style parody of just country music. And our friend Noah is going to be back to talk about that song. And because we know a guy. Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. So Rob from the Crooked Table Productions. I love that. Part of the Odd Pods Media Network. Sounds so official. Thank you again so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. We'll have to find more Weird Al in the world of movies / the Zaz universe and like little nooks and crannies to cover in the future.
Don't worry. The world is a veritable English muffin of those things. So don't worry about it. All right. And Russ, thank you for rolling your chair in here. I appreciate you. And all right, folks, stay weird. We'll come at you again next time. Bye.
Bye.